Hello everybody and welcome back to Gaming on Caffeine. My name is Isaac and today we are starting a brand new series on a relatively newish pack. It's a few months old at this point, but we're going to play some Project Ozone Lite, a 1.10.2 questing mod pack that you can find right now on the Curse Launcher, aka the Twitch Launcher. I'll put a link in the description down below if you want to check it out for yourself and play along with the series. But essentially, this is a questing mod pack similar to Project Ozone 2 and Project Ozone 1. And the very first quest here under Welcome to Light is a random act of kindness. Hold on now. How is this a random act of kindness if I'm just giving you these starting items? Bruh. So essentially, the first quest here is really simple. You tick the checkbox, you click, I think, detect/submit. I'm not quite sure. You then pick one of 3 loot boxes. We will go for the middle one. We also get a couple of items that are standard. And if we click claim, look at that, quest complete. We are on our way already to completing this pack, and we also got a Ghast charm. Ghasts can't see you with this. I don't know how useful that's going to be in the early game. I'm not quite sure how the loot boxes work, but I think they might be completely random, because I've seen some stories from people who just got like crazy, ridiculously OP stuff in their first loot box that really helped them out in the early game. I don't quite think that a Ghast charm is going to necessarily help us out all that much in the early game. I don't think we're going to encounter that many Ghasts that it becomes a problem, but it might come in useful when we head on through to the Nether and try and get our first couple of Ghast here, so it's probably good to hold on to nonetheless. For those who are not familiar, by the way, with the Garden of Glass world type, which is what we've got here. It's a world type added by Botania. It's the world type that I would recommend you play on. I don't know if it's the starting world type on this mod pack. I think it is. But essentially, you start in on an island like this. If you played a Skyblock before, you've probably seen it. They all look fairly similar. And essentially, all you have to do is hold down shift and right click, and you get these pebbles. These pebbles can then be crafted in the crafting table like so to get you cobblestone. And the cobblestone can then be used for all kinds of stuff. But most importantly for us, it can be used to complete these early game quests. Now, before we can do that, we are, of course, going to have to throw down some kind of oak sapling. I'm going to put it away from our mana flame, because I feel like whenever I put down saplings, either kind of in this middle slot or close to the mana flame, it takes longer to grow. Whereas you can see that one there just grew almost instantly, which is actually kind of ridiculous. We do have the tree growing simulator mod installed, which means if you run around or if you hold down shift and twerk next to a tree, it will go ahead and grow faster, which is always nice to have in Skyblocks. We also have the vein miner replicant. The new vein miner for 1.10, which is called Ore Excavator, in case any of you are wanting to like rebind that key and can't find vein miner in the control menu. It's called Ore Excavator now, so you'll have to look for that one instead. Just quickly there, actually, I think I'm gonna have to break this again. Hopefully, this is not gonna be good. Hopefully I don't lose it. Oh, there we go, we're fine. We are fine. So let me put this, actually, I guess we just have to break like one of these, right? There we go. Okay, we've made it. We've made it. And you know what? I'm just going to put this back down here for now. That should be fine. So, straight away, of course, crafting table. We do have Tinker's Construct installed, and so crafting station. And then, for now, I reckon I can probably dig this into the ground a little bit just to save on space here in the early game, because things can get quite cluttered very quickly. And I'm usually not the best at expanding out my island fast enough to kind of fit everything on it. Also, I believe we can make apple oak saplings, or apple tree saplings, although it might require one more apple. Let me check real quick here. If I go across in the crafting, yeah, we need 3 apples and 1 of any type of sapling, and we can craft ourselves an apple sapling, which is probably not going to be the worst idea here in the early game. However, I am pretty sure that one of these quests does require us to get some apples. Yeah, the Wood Age quest requires us to get 8 logs, 4 saplings, and then 8 apples. A bit of an odd ratio. The quest there is definitely weighted towards apples for whatever reason. So we'll go ahead and make ourselves a crook. For those who don't know, this allows us to get a higher chance of drops from leaves. And so if we go ahead and ore excavate all of those, it's not... For some reason, I did a little bit of a play test of this pack. So I played through the first couple of quests here, and for some reason, using the Ore Excavating mod in this mod pack tends to send the items like flying off in just like a wild direction. I'm not quite sure why. I'm pretty sure Vein Miner didn't always do that, although I could be wrong about that. It might just be me, but for whatever reason, whenever I use Ore Excavator, it just sends everything just flying out into the middle of nowhere, which usually isn't too big of a problem. I didn't really mean to put down that plank all the way down there, but that's fine. But in this pack, especially in the early game, you want to be able to capture all of that stuff, especially all of those apples, because getting 8 of them can be a bit of a pain in the backside. And so we are going to have to try and extend out this platform so that we don't send everything flying, or alternatively, we could, of course, just not use our excavator, which is doable, albeit a little bit slower. You know, if we break everything individually, it tends to kind of fall down as you would expect it. I think it might be something to do with the mod that changes the dropped items. I quite like it. I think the items look pretty cool when they're dropped on the ground now. They've got like a little 3D effect going on them. They look a little bit more lifelike than normal dropped Minecraft items, but at the same time, they do kind of tend to go flying with our excavator, which is not really too big of a deal, but it's just kind of a little annoying sometimes in the early game when you just see things flipping flying off into the void like that. It's not the best thing in the world. But guys, I'm going to go away real quick. I'm going to chop down a few more trees, try and get us up to 8 apples. I'll probably also go and get a little bit more cobblestone as well by shift right clicking on the ground here until we've got quite a bit of cobblestone. And before I go, let us quickly go ahead and make a chest so we can store all of our newfound riches. And I'll probably also expand out our platform just a little bit more to make it a little bit more symmetrical and also just a little bit bigger so that we don't lose all of our drops when we break the trees. So I'm going to do that, guys, and I'll be back in a second. And a little bit of tree chopping and cobblestone grinding later, we now have a nice amount of wood, a ton of pebbles, as well as more than 8 apples, which means that we should have completed the wood age quest. We have indeed, so let's go ahead and pick a loot chest. Hopefully we get something good. Let's have a look. We got 5 industrial-grade graphite ore. I'm not quite sure what that is going to be useful for. It looks like it is almost completely useless, but I'm hoping that the Quantum Flux mod will have some use for it, maybe a little bit later on down the line, maybe. But now that we've done that, we can go ahead and craft up a bunch of cobblestone, and if memory serves me correct, we do indeed need to make ourselves a furnace in order to complete the other quest here, which is this one, early cobblestone. Shift right click on grass and dirt to get pebbles. This only works on the Garden of Grass world type. We'll go ahead and take this one. Let's have a look. Hopefully something good. We got 8 4-carat pluses, which give us haste 9. Okay, I'm not quite sure how useful haste is going to be for us in the early game, but any source of food is always good. We also got a ton of silkworms, like way more than I normally expect to get. 51 silkworms is actually ridiculous. That's an incredible number of silkworms, but that's good because we can, of course, use those silkworms in order to infest some trees, get ourselves some string, and use that string to make, I guess, either wool, but most importantly, get ourselves into sifting with ex nihilo. But we can also use it as food, I believe. Let me check this real quick. Make sure it hasn't been changed in this newer version of ex nihilo here. Nope, it hasn't. We can still go ahead and cook up silkworms into, I think, just cooked silkworms is what they're called. They're not the best sources of food around. You can see there they only fill 1 chicken leg at a time, but we do have them in quite large quantities, which is quite nice. So now that is done, let's take another look in our quest book here. By the way, we're using the better questing mod, which is a little bit different than Project Ozone 1 and 2. They both use HQM, that's hardcore questing mode. At least they did at the start of the pack. I think Project Ozone 2 moved on to better questing mod at some point towards the end of its lifespan. But anyway, we've got barrels and clay, which wants us to make 1 wooden barrel and then 4 clay. Now, thankfully, I think in this pack, it's quite easy. So normally, what you would do here with ex nihilo is you would go ahead, make some barrels, put them down, and then just kind of hope that it rains. Now, I'm making this point at a bad time because it is raining, and thus what we can do is just put these barrels down and get free rain, I think. Yeah, look at that. It fills up slowly but surely. But thankfully what you can do in this version of ex nihilo is actually grab some balls, and then if I can find that original bit of water, which I can, it's right here, I believe what we should be able to do is just go ahead and no, okay, I think we have to block off this flowing water here real quick, so let me just grab some of this cobblestone and do something like that. It makes a bit of a mess, but that's fine. We can always go ahead and clean that up later. Once you've got an actual still source block, you can go ahead and just right click, get a bunch of balls of water, which we should pick up any second now. There we go. And so now if we go over to our barrel, I'm fairly certain that if these were empty, we could just right click on them with the ball of water and they would instantly fill up, as opposed to having to wait for it to maybe possibly rain sometime soon, which is quite nice. It just makes ex nihilo a little less grindy, a little bit less look based, and a little quicker, which is always good. So we can go ahead and craft ourselves a stone hammer. Let's throw down a little bit of cobblestone. We are going to need at least 4 here. If we vein mine, we do have the odd risk that all of our stuff just kind of flies off into the void. Hopefully that does not happen. And now that we've hammered our cobble into gravel, gravel into sand, we can hammer our sand into dust. And what we should be able to do is put that dust into these barrels filled with water. And then if we right-click again, we get ourselves some clay. Nice. And this gives me a good time to show off the bowl of water method, which works like so, nice and quickly. And then we can do the same thing again, dust and dust. And I believe that should be a quest complete. Look at that. Nice. So we'll go ahead and claim our free loot box again, hoping for something good. We got 16 enhanced energy conduits that can carry a maximum of 51,200 redstone flux per tick. That is actually kind of crazy. I'm really happy we got those early on. And also, I didn't really mention, but let me check the recipe here. I'm pretty sure, yeah, most of the recipes in this pack are standard recipes. There's no Titan mode, there's no Kappa mode, there's no expert mode crafting recipes in this mod pack, at least not throughout. And so essentially this mod pack is mostly default recipes. For example, if I go and look up the recipe for, I don't think we have thermal expansion. Maybe we do. Pulverizer? Oh no, we totally do. If I look at the recipe for the pulverizer, this is the bog standard recipe for a pulverizer. It's a piston, 2 flint, 2 copper gears, 1 redstone reception coil, and 1 machine frame. And the machine frame, again, has just a basic recipe, some iron, some glass, and a tin gear. The tin gear is also super easy to make. There's no like having to go through the Tinker's Construct smeltery or having to make immersive engineering metal presses or anything like that, which is quite nice. It's quite refreshing to not have to grind out for hours just to get a pulverizer. But they have also gated a couple of items and changed a couple of recipes just to make the pack feel a little bit more balanced. For example, the one that's always changed is the Philosopher's Stone, which allows you, of course, to get into Project E, aka Equivalent Exchange. And you can see here the recipe for this has been tweaked quite a bit, making it quite a bit more difficult than it normally is. And again, if we look in our quest book here, you will notice that over on the right, there is a suspicious quest. And we know that item, or we might know that item, if you've played a Skyblock before, to be the Infinity Crystal, or the Infinity Catalyst, I think. This guy right here. Yeah, the Infinity Catalyst. And to make this, again, it's got a custom recipe, and I quite like this. It was something that the creators of All the Mods 3 also did, which is another mod pack that I played recently, a 1.12 pack, and it's just the idea of kind of having normal recipes, but then also adding in some late game stuff that like allows you to use all the automation and all the progression that you've got to get some more cool stuff and kind of give you a late game goal. I really like the idea, and so I'm glad that recipes like this are in the pack, even though the whole pack is not like an expert mode, Kappa mode, you know, everything is hard kind of thing. So anyway, let us jump back in there. Got a little bit off topic, a little bit rambly. We've got a couple of quests that we can do now. We can do the 1-block storage, a little tinkerer, floral fertilizer, or the Sifting. I think we'll go with the 1-block storage just because this quest is super easy to do. And as the quest says right here, it gives us a good storage option for the early game. I could not agree more. And if memory serves me right, I'm fairly certain that the recipe looks something like this. You get a chest, you put it in the middle, and then you surround it with 6 planks like so, and you get a basic storage drawer. Nice. That's going to go ahead and complete that quest for us. We will go for the middle loot chest and hopefully get something good. We got 16 stone and 8 wood. Not quite 16 enhanced energy conduits that can transfer 51,000 redstone flux per tick, but at the same time, not unwanted either. It saves us having to chop down a couple of trees and also saves us having to smelt a little bit of cobblestone, which is always nice. And so for those who don't know how these storage drawers work, these are really cool. And I guess for now, I'll probably put these like over here, like right up against the edge of our platform. And I am going to go ahead and make at least 1 or 2 more because I would like to have one for all of my wood, as well as I think for now just 1 for all of my cobblestone because we do have quite a bit of that as well. And so if we do something like this, whack this one down next to it. Basically, these are kind of like barrels. If you've played with any mod that has barrels in them before, like Jabba in previous versions of Minecraft, you can take a stack of items, whack it in there. We'll do the same with cobblestone. And by default, I believe these can hold up to 64 stacks of any given item. And then if we shift right click, you can see we can add upgrades later on down the line to have them store even more stuff. And I believe there is a further quest here for us to make a compacting drawer, a drawer controller, and a controller sieve, which I don't think we can make just yet because I'm fairly certain that the drawer controller does indeed require iron. It does, as well as 2 pistons, which of course also require iron and redstone. So we can't quite do that quest just yet, but they add some more stuff. And it's a really cool mod. It's a really good early game source of storage, basically taking you all the way up to applied energistics when you get to something like applied energistics. In fact, I didn't even check. Do we have applied energistics installed? We do. Okay, good stuff. Do we have refined storage? We don't. Okay, so if you were wondering about that, it does have applied energistics and not refined storage. They're very similar mods, but they are a little bit different. Some people prefer one over the other. Personally, I'm quite a fan of Applied Energistics, mostly just because I've used it more. I'm just used to playing with Applied Energistics more than anything else. But the next quest here on our list of quests to do is kind of the basic early game Tinker's Construct stuff, which is always the same. We're going to get ourselves some blank patterns. We're going to craft those blank patterns with different items like oak wooden planks, oak wooden logs, I believe a crafting table and a chest. I've done this so many times now. It's a prerequisite. It's in every single mod pack that you will ever play. It's actually ridiculous. That gets us the pattern chest. And then finally, this is going to get us the tool station. And I think that's pretty much all of the items. It is indeed good stuff. Sometimes you do have to click detect/submit and then kind of back out of the quest book and open it again for it to actually register that you've done everything. But now that that's done, we'll take another loot box, hopefully something good. It is a cave spider charm. I guess over time, as we collect more and more of these charms, eventually we might just be immune to all mobs. That could be pretty cool. But let's go ahead and throw these down somewhere, I guess. Where do I want to put these? For now, I think I'm just going to put them kind of over here. We'll have our stencil table and our pattern chest, and then we'll go ahead and have our tool station and part builder. I will move a lot of this stuff like very shortly because I've put all this stuff down on these half slabs that are on the bottom half of the slab to make sure the mobs don't spawn, which they probably wouldn't anyway because we're not, like, the platform's not that big that we can be more than like 24 blocks away for them to spawn. But at the same time, it's just easier and it's just a good habit to get into, to put down half slabs. On the bottom half, it allows you to expand out quite rapidly and make sure the mobs don't spawn. But the downside to it is that everything looks kind of horrible. All of the stuff just floats, nothing sits correctly, nothing looks good, and I really don't like it. But we'll live with it for the time being in the interest of being a bit more efficient. Now, the next quest here wants us to make some floral fertilizer, which I think is actually a really easy quest to do. All we need is a little bit of that living root that's a bit further down under our platform. So if I get some cobblestone, I know we've just made all that Tinker stuff, so we're actually supposed to make a Tinker's tool or a set of Tinker's tools, and we will do that in just a second here. But a quick and easy pickaxe is going to allow me to hopefully get a little bit of this stuff here. I was hoping I'd be able to break this underwater, and I guess technically I could, but it's going to take about 400 billion years. And so what I'm going to do instead is just build a little platform like this, jump up on here, break the living root, and then I think we actually need 4. So let me go ahead and grab this one as well. Oh no, I think we need 4 if we want to craft a replacement sapling, I believe is the idea. So if you start the island and your first tree doesn't give you any saplings whatsoever, one thing that you can do is head on down, break that living root, and then craft it in 4 like so. That will give you the oak sapling. But I think if you craft it just one at a time, you actually get the floral fertilizer that we're looking for. And if we go back into the quest book, look at that. We got another quest complete. Nice. There's no reward for this quest, which is a bit of a shame. I would have liked to get another loot box, but nevertheless, let us have a look here at the Sifting. Silkworms come in handy to make all the string I'll ever need to make a sieve. Make several of these sieves in a 5x5 area to sieve more than 1 gravel, sand, and dust, etc. First things first here, what we should probably do is like take a piece of dirt, and I believe also we can make more dirt really easily here in our barrels if we just fill these up with something that's not water, which they are now, of course, filled up with. Let me quickly, I guess, grab some cobblestone, hammer that cobblestone down into gravel, and then again into sand, and then finally into dust, just to make a little bit more clay, mostly just to get rid of that water, but also because it's always good to have a little bit of extra clay lying around. So we'll take both of you, and then if we fill these up with, I believe, 8 saplings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we're going to begin composting our dirt and turning it, or composting our saplings, I should say, and turning it into actual dirt. And after a couple of seconds, we can go ahead and right-click like that, and it's done. Nice. So let me take some of this dirt. For now, I guess we will spread them out a little bit over here, but essentially, what I would like to do, these are probably a little bit too close, but that's fine. So we'll do this and then this. It's nice and symmetrical, which I always like, and it allows us to kind of build around them like so. But basically, what I'm going to do here is throw down 5 saplings, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 4 saplings even. Do a quick bit of shifting until all of these are fully grown. Once they're all fully grown, we can grab our silkworms, and then we can kind of just go to town, right-clicking all over here. Now, technically, you only need 1 silkworm, and it will spread actually surprisingly quickly in this pack, and fill up all of these trees and infest them all, and turn them all into these white leaves that you can then break to get some string. And so, guys, what I'm going to do here real quick is I'm going to go away. I'm going to get some more slabs. I'm going to expand out our platform a little bit. I'm going to wait until all of these trees have fully become infested, and I'll be back in a second. And not too long later, we've now got a ton of infested leaves. And so, if we go ahead and hold down the grave key, which is the ore excavation key by default, which for those who don't know is, at least on my keyboard, the one directly below the escape key. So we'll hold that and to the left of the number 1 key at the top there. And so we'll hold down the grave key, break a few leaves, and kaboom! Look at that, we got over a stack of string already. I have gone ahead and made quite a few of these wooden crooks because I had a feeling that one was not quite going to be enough to break all of these here. I really would like to not have all... Oh, we don't have enough hunger. Okay, let me quickly jump away real quick. We might as well go ahead and eat these 5 silkworms that we've already cooked up. They're not the greatest, and we probably shouldn't have cooked them up, really, given that we've got quite a few apples already. But nevertheless, they will go ahead and fill up our hunger just a little bit. And then let's go and quickly just do something, for now at least, a little bit like that. Oh, we lost so much string, but that's fine. We've got a ton of string, more string than we're probably going to need for the time being. I will clear this out at some point in the near future, but for now, you'll see I've set up a new area over here. This, of course, is for that 5x5 sieve setup that they recommended in the quest book. So, let's have a look here. To make a sieve, we just need 1 plank and 2 sticks. That is actually a ridiculously easy crafting recipe. And so let's go ahead and do something like this. We probably don't need too many of them. And then we'll do this and this. We need, I guess, 25. So we do need quite a few of them, actually, now that I think about it. Let's do that. And finally, like that. That's going to get us to 21. Just a few short. Let's get some more sticks. And then I think we are good to go. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 takes us up to 25. And then, of course, after that, we're going to need 25 meshes. And hopefully, these don't require a ridiculous amount of string. They don't. It's 9 per mesh. And so if we do something like this, we can make 24. We're just a little bit short of the 25 meshes that we need to fill all of these sieves in. So let me grab just a little bit more string here. Even that wasn't quite enough because all my stuff now is just falling off into the void because we've got all of the stuff that's nearby. Let's try getting like this bit right here. There we go, 25 more. Nice. So we'll do this, get ourselves our 25th sieve, or 25th mesh, I should say. And then if we come over to the middle, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. These are on the bottom half of the slab for now, which is real freaking annoying, but it works. And we'll do something like this, and then finally, like that. Nice. And so now we have to do this awkward jump to get up here, and we can put down all of these meshes into all of these sieves like so. And I believe what should happen here is if we sieve on the center sieve, it will actually sieve in all 25 sieves at the same time, which is actually kind of ridiculous. So, in order to test this out, we're going to have to get a bunch of gravel, because I believe the gravel is the easiest block that we can sieve. So, let me, for now, really quickly throw down 25 cobblestone, and I'm going to try hammering all that cobblestone at once using our excavator, and then hopefully sieving it all pretty soon after. So we've got 25 gravel. If we head on back over here and right-click in the middle, I think it'll take all 25 gravel, put 1 in every single sieve, and then if we sieve in the center here, it's going to sieve in all of them, and then fill our inventory with the stuff that we got, which was essentially nothing, by the way. We didn't get a lot at all, which is kind of surprising. Let me check here real quick. If we press U over gravel and we go over to the sieve, what are the odds? Oh, we can only get flint. That is new. I was not aware of that. Let me check here real quick. Does sand give us anything good? Sand gives us cocoa beans, and then dust maybe gives us all the stuff that we're after. Let me see here. U, dust. Dust gives us bone meal, gunpowder, and skystone dust. So I think what we might have to do here, you'll notice that there are different sieves, and the different sieves give us different things. So it looks like the basic string mesh that we've set up here is actually not all that useful. It is for getting things like flint, for getting bone meal, especially without a spawner, which is quite nice. And also, that's quite the error at the top there. Ex nihilo ascendio topo override? All right, but it looks like we actually have to upgrade to the flint mesh before we can actually get anything decent. Let me check here real quick with gravel. Do we get better things out of the flint mesh? We do. We get things like gold, aluminium, platinum, nickel, lead, more importantly, iron, which is going to be quite useful. Do we get higher odds with better sieves? It looks like no. 1 times 100, and then it's still 1 times 100. But with an iron sieve, we have a chance of getting diamonds and emeralds, as well as all the other stuff. And then finally, with a diamond sieve, we get maybe better odds. Although it doesn't look like it. Although we get slightly better odds on the coal. 1%, 1%, 19%, 12%. So yeah, we get slightly better odds on everything. And we also don't get flint as well, which I guess is quite nice. My question now, though, is there an easy way for us to get flint? For example, crafting 3 gravel together. There is indeed. That might... Actually, I guess that probably is quicker, because if you think about it, we just got 6 flint from 25 gravel, which means that approximately 1 in every 5 gravel gave us a flint. Slightly less than that, maybe 1 every 4 gravel gave us a flint. And so crafting 3 gravel into 1 flint is probably going to be easier for us in the long term, actually. And so, guys, what I'm going to do real quick here, I'm going to go away again. I'm going to get, I guess, an actual butt ton of cobblestone, because we're already almost out of the cobblestone that we have. And so I'm going to go away. I'm going to get a ton of cobblestone. I'm going to break that cobblestone down into gravel. I'm going to craft that gravel into flint. I'm then going to check real quick what it takes in order to make the flint mesh. It takes 6 flint and then 1 string mesh. And so if we want to fill up this entire area here, he quickly opens Windows Calculator, we are going to need 150 flint as well as the 25 string meshes that we've got. And so I'm going to go away, guys. I'm going to try and get maybe 150 flint, and I'll be back in a second. Also, a quick tip, you can really easily make this stone wand here from the Better Builders Wand mod, and it makes putting down platforms super easy, and it also makes putting down large amounts of cobble that you then want to hammer later on really easy as well. And quite a bit of hammering later, and we now have a total of 562 gravel, quite a bit more, actually, than the 450 that we need in order to make 150 flint, but nevertheless, let's go ahead and craft up a bunch of flint, like so, and then finally, like so, and then head on over to our sieves, which I can no longer get to because we are completely out of hunger, and so I am going to very quickly grab some of the stone that we were given earlier, and then if we craft 2 of those stones into a stone pressure plate, and then 1 up at the top like so, we get a juicer, which we can use to make apple juice, which, as you can see, fills 2 chicken legs and then a bit of saturation, as opposed to the 2 chicken legs. Oh no, I'm reading the same thing here. We need to put 2 apples in, but it's the same? Oh, they must have nerfed apple juice. Okay. I was going to look into making apple sauce, which in newer packs has been better. You can see it's a lot better than the apple juice, and does only require 1 apple and then a reusable pot. But the pot does require 4 iron, so we can't quite make that just yet, but maybe we might be able to make it before the end of the video if we get lucky on our iron drops here. But let us quickly eat some of these apples and then try and make this jump, pick up all of the sieves. And then once we've got all of those, quickly come back to the crafting table and do something like this. Nice. Okay, so let's fill all these back in, and then let us see about trying this again with hopefully some of the leftover gravel. If I don't have any leftover gravel, I might have to get some more real quick. We've got 2. Oh no, we've got a stack of leftover gravel. Okay, let me give this a go. So hopefully now we should start to get, oh, look at that, all kinds of stuff. And oh, you get the drops are insane. We got 64 iron ore pieces already. That's incredible. And so if we craft those up like so, we get iron ore chunks, which I believe we can then craft into nothing. Ooh, I guess we have to just smelt them. All right, we got 16 iron already, which is quite cool. I would use coal, but I think that our wood is definitely a more renewable resource right now. And so we've already got 16 iron. That should easily get us to apple sauce, which is pretty cool. And I guess whilst we wait for this, we can check out our quest book here, because we have indeed completed the sifting. So we'll go with the middle loot chest, and we've also completed flint mesh, and we'll again go for the middle loot chest. Why not? And hopefully here, after I dump some stuff into this chest, because we are completely running out of space, we'll get some good stuff. Let's have a look. We got a zombie charm, again, just another one to add to our collection of charms that will eventually make us immune to all mobs. And then a diamond furnace, which I think is actually significantly faster than this regular furnace that we've got here. And also, you may have noticed that it was indeed a rare reward. So let me check this real quick. If we put in our fuel here and our iron ore chunks here, oh yeah, that's definitely faster. That's so much faster. If I were to take one of these and then put it in over here, look at this. Look at how slow this thing is. This thing tearing away. Oh my goodness, it's so much faster. And also, I believe with the furnace overhaul mod, you can actually get upgrades that allow you to make this thing even faster in the future as well, which is quite good. We did just waste a plank there, but in the grand scheme of things, that's fine. We got a bunch of wood, so it's not really too big of a problem. If we do something like this and like this, we can get ourselves a pot. We can then craft that pot with our 10 apples. Actually, I'm going to keep 3 of those apples so that we can, of course, make ourselves an apple tree, which we can then use to get a better source of infinite apples. Speaking of which, we should probably not put our stone axe in there, but also get rid of these trees. We are being a little inefficient, I think, by not using a crook on this. Although it looks like these might just stay there until I do use a crook on them, which I guess is fine as well. But hopefully, if we do this, look at that. We have got a bunch of apples, which will, over time, regrow and replace themselves. Oh, look at this. Look at this. You can go ahead and grab that one. And then, oh my goodness, the tree growing simulator mod works on the apples. That is actually ridiculous. That's silly. That is so ridiculous. Why even have the hunger bar at this point? If you're just going to give out, look at this. If you're just going to give apples out for free. Wow. Okay, well, in that case, we have got just an infinite source. Just by running around, that's crazy. We've got an infinite source of applesauce, which is already just like a fantastic food substitute, which means that we can use our ore excavation powers near infinitely with almost no penalty. That is actually ridiculous. I was going to suggest that we get 3 of those apples and make another one and put it down like over here, but there's no need. You don't have to get another tree because this one just provides limitless apples. You can just stand here all day and just, oh my gosh, that's crazy. That is actually ridiculous. Anyway, let me look here real quick. Are there any other quests we can complete today? I believe this lava generation quest isn't actually going to be that hard for us to complete because in order to make the Crucible here, we need to get a bunch of porcelain clay, which is made with clay and bone meal. And bone meal, if you remember from earlier, can be got from sifting dust. So what I think I'm going to do real quick, guys, is I'm going to go away again. I'm going to get myself a bunch of cobblestone. I'm going to hammer it down into gravel, hammer that down into sand, hammer that down into dust, sieve all that dust to get a bunch of bone meal. And I'll be back again in a second. And a bunch more hammering later, and we have almost 3 stacks of dust. And so, what I'm going to do here really quickly is get myself another chest that I'm going to use to store all of the drops that we get from sifting here, because we're just going to fill up our inventory way too fast otherwise. And then let me get rid of all of my cobblestone and all of my wood, not what I want to do, all of my wood and cobblestone back into those storage drawers. And then I think I'm just going to take you guys out of here, put some of the other stuff in here again, just to try and save a little bit of room, and then put all of this in like so, just so we know where all of our sifting resources are. And so now we've done that, let's grab our dust and let's go to town on a bit of sifting. Hopefully we'll get quite a bit of bone meal. We really only need 7, and so we've got way more than that already, so we don't even need to do the extra stack of 2 stacks of dust that we've got, and so I might do those between episodes. But let me dump most of this stuff out here, grab some of the clay that we made earlier, throw it down like so we can get ourselves actual pieces of clay as opposed to the blocks of clay. And then if we craft those up with 7 bone meal like so and like so, we get ourselves the porcelain clay, which we can then of course craft up into the unfired crucible, which we can then smelt into the fired crucible, which we can then use to get ourselves our first bits of lava. And so the way that this works, for those of you who are new to modern Skyblock, or maybe just to Ex Nihilo, you place down the Crucible above a heat source. A torch is not a very good heat source, but in the early game, it's kind of the only heat source you've got. You'll see at the top there, the current rate is 1 times. Later on down the line, you can get different blocks and different liquids and different heat sources that will give you different multipliers that will give you more lava. But for now, you'll see that when you put a piece of cobblestone in, it's a solid cobblestone 250, and every single one of those 250 atoms of cobblestone, or whatever measurement they're using, turns into 1 millibucket of lava. And so you actually need to put in 4 blocks of cobblestone to get 1,000 atoms, maybe, of cobblestone that will then turn into 1,000 millibuckets, aka 1 bucket worth of lava, which we can then get with an actual bucket, which we can make, obviously, like so. I say that and then fail to actually craft it correctly, like so. And so once that's done, it will take a little bit of time. You can see here it's not the quickest thing in the world, but once it's done, we will have our first bit of lava. We can, of course, then use that lava with the water that we've got either down here, or we could just get some more using these barrels and create an easy infinite source of water. And then once we've got that, combine the water with the lava to get an easy infinite source of cobblestone, which means that we no longer have to stand here and shift right click to get pebbles in order to get cobblestone, which is going to make the whole process of just getting gravel, sand, and dust so much simpler, which is really cool. And also, actually, cobblestone generation, I completely forgot about the cobblestone generator. This guy right here, we can make it with a bucket of lava, a bucket of water, a piece of glass, and then 6 cobblestone. We don't even have to make your traditional cobblestone generator. All we have to do is get ourselves another bucket here. And let me see. So if I get these bowls out, can I do this and this? I can. So basically, you can turn this not unlimited source of water into an unlimited source of water simply by taking these bowls of water and putting them up over here like so, and then taking them out with an actual bucket and making unlimited water that way, which is pretty cool. And so really all we have to do now is, first of all, smelt up some glass. And by glass, I, of course, mean sand into glass, like so. And essentially, the cobblestone generator is exactly what it says on the tin. It's a cobblestone generator that will just passively produce cobblestone. There are 5 tiers. They start at tier 1 and works all the way up to tier 5. Tier 5 is quite expensive, requiring 8 emeralds, as well as tier 4, which requires blaze rods, as well as tier 3, which requires diamonds, as well as tier 2, which requires iron, which we might even be able to make because we've already got quite a bit of iron, increasing the output rate to 1 cobblestone every 20 ticks. For those who are unaware, 20 ticks is 1 second in Minecraft. And so the first tier of cobblestone generator produces 1 cobblestone every 2 seconds, which is not particularly fast, but is fine for the early game. You've then got the next tier, which doubles that to every 1 second, which is it's a substantial increase in speed. And then to 10 seconds, so you get 2 a second, and then 4 a second. And then finally, the tier 5 cobblestone generator ups the output to 1 cobblestone every tick, which means you get 20 cobblestone per second, which is pretty insane. And so, guys, I'm going to go away real quick. I'm going to wait until all of the cobblestone here has turned into lava, and then hopefully I'll come back and we'll make ourselves a tier 2 cobblestone generator. And now that all of that cobblestone has been turned into lava, we can go ahead and grab it, run on back over to our crafting table, grab our piece of glass, go ahead and do something a little bit like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Craft that up like so, and then craft that with our non-existent 8 iron that we don't have, but we can get very quickly by crafting these iron chunks and smelting them like so. A more prepared person would have done this whilst waiting for the lava to smelt, but nevertheless, it only takes a few seconds because our diamond furnace is super quick. And boom, there we go. We have a tier 2 cobblestone generator. Let me quickly grab 2 pieces of oak wooden log, craft that up into a chest. And I believe if we put this down, for example, I guess for now, like right here will do just fine. And then we put the chest above it like so. And that should begin to output an infinite source of cobblestone. Nice. And a smarter person would instead get rid of that chest and actually put one of the storage drawers above it so that it can hold up to 64 stacks of cobblestone as opposed to just however many stacks a normal chest can hold, which is, I think, 27. So let's do this. And there we go. We have a nice infinite source of cobblestone and a quick and easy way of putting it all down using our 1 tier, an easy way of hammering it using our stone hammer with the ore excavation mod. And then due to the fact that we've got infinite apples and therefore infinite apple source, we can do that kind of infinitely to get us gravel, sand, and dust, which we can then sieve, of course, to get all of the resources that we need, hopefully, for the early game here, although we might have to upgrade to the next tier of sieves fairly soon, maybe, once we start making things with diamonds and emeralds. But for now, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this episode of Project Ozone Lite there. As always, if you did enjoy the video, be sure to hit like. It really does help out a lot, especially on a new series. Lets me know that you guys want to see more, and lets YouTube know that this video maybe wasn't complete and utter trash. Again, thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.